Hey guys, so today I thought I'd do kind of a different video and show you guys my autograph collection. Most of what I have here on the table is books, but I do have a few pictures here also that are autographed. I can tell you that I love to read books. I'm sure a lot of you do also. You know, I don't just, collect different things, but I actually like to read and learn also about, history and different things, especially, military history. And I love reading autobiographies. I love reading, soldiers' accounts about what they experienced, what they went through and everything. I really enjoy those types of books. One thing that's awesome is, I've mentioned in other videos, is I go to Goodwill quite a bit. We have a Goodwill bookstore that's about maybe 5 or 6 minutes from my house, maybe about 3 or 4 miles. And I go there usually at least a couple of times a month. And I've been going there for years. And over the years, I've actually scored some really good books. And some of them have turned out to be autographed. And I think that's really awesome. So of the, I don't know, there's I think about 15 books here that are autographed on the table. And almost every one of them I lucked out and got at Goodwill for like $3 each. And there's some really interesting history here. I'm really excited to share it with you. Like I said, I do have a few pictures also. Like I said, not your typical video from me, but I hope you guys will watch it and enjoy it. So let's go. Alright guys, so here is my autograph collection. Like I said, I got about 4 or 5 pictures here, but most of it is books. And like I said, there's some really interesting books here, especially that I want to share with you. I'll start right here. You know, they got this top book here, Pearl Harbor Ghosts. This one here is actually autographed Thurston Clark in May of 1992. Thurston Clark was the author, and I can tell you that I haven't read all of these books. Honestly, I've only read, of the 15, I think I've only read maybe about 5 or 6 of them so far. But I actually looked, and I think I've got like 74 books that I haven't even read yet. So I love to read. Got some catching up to do. So got that one there. This one here is autographed. See, it's by Alan Clark. He is the the veteran. This is his story, and I'll show you. This one's autographed. It says Alan Clark. It actually says, "To Ethel, American patriot from a wounded soldier, healing warrior of Vietnam. May God bless you." And it says Alan Clark, June 30th, 2007. So that's really cool. Got this next one here. It says, "My Journey to War, the Thomas Stewart story." This one is autographed. It looks like it says, I can't read it, "To Gary" or "To Gray." I'm not sure, but anyways. It says "All the Best," and it says William Murray, and then it also says Thomas Stewart. So the author and the veteran both signed this book. That's really cool. This one right here says "A Few Good Men," and this one is not autographed by the author, but the man that read this book, I've come across some of his books in the bookstore. He was a World War II veteran. He was in the 42nd Infantry Division, the Rainbow Division. And his name, it looks like it's Ted Smith. He's got his name in 2 or 3 of these books. It says, "My father was in the Marine Corps in World War I." And Mr. Smith wrote this, dated it on February 25th, 1990. So that was really cool find. Moving on here, I've got this book, Nuts, Vincent Speranza. I actually met Mr. Speranza at the shows in Louisville this year. And he actually addressed this autograph to me. It says, "To Jonathan, best wishes, Vince Speranza, H Company 501st Parachute Infantry Regiment, 101st Airborne Division." And then he was in Bastogne, 1944. So I met him, got pictures with him. That was great. This one right here is called Stray Bullets. And this one, it was by Alan Haggard. But somebody used whiteout, and it was signed actually twice. I can make out that it said Alan Haggard, so it was autographed by the author. But for whatever reason, somebody whited it out. This one right here, "Follow Me and Die" by Cecil Gurry. But check this out: the same man that filled out "A Few Good Men" about his father was a World War I Marine, and then, like I said, he was a World War II veteran, 42nd. He actually wrote different things in here having to do with you know, what was spoken about in this book. He said it was cold. It was awful cold. That was possibly the worst part. And then some of it's hard to read. He said a pretty good book. I doubt some of it. And then right here he said this book will show how stupid war really is. They took ushers and bellboys and made officers out of them because they knew how to wear uniforms. And then he said for some time the division, the 42nd Rainbow, I was in was on the right of the 28th. So again, there's a name. Looks like Ted Smith. He was in the 42nd, and evidently his division, his company, was to the right of the 28th Division. He said, this book makes me mad at how ill or how little prepared was, or how little reward was taken for the men's lives. And this is dated December 22nd, 1989. So that's a really cool that it's filled out like that. This is one of my best scores. It's called The Memphis Belle. It's got Minnow Durskin, I guess. And Memphis Belle, you know, the woman who was the Memphis Belle, you know, basically she dated the pilot of the Memphis Belle bomber, and that's where he got the name from. But anyways, this book is autographed by Margaret Polk. She was the Memphis Belle. She was the lady that dated the pilot who named the plane after her, Margaret Polk. And then Best Wishes has got the author's autograph, so that's really cool. It's an awesome find right there. This one right here is by, if you've seen the Pacific miniseries, this man is portrayed, Mr. Bergen. And he actually passed away this year. But if you've heard of Robert Leckie and Eugene Sledge, Helmet for My Pillow, and With the Old Breed, they're great books. This goes along with them. This one is autographed, says to Hugh Semper Fi R.V. Bergen, and this is dated September 1st, 2012, so that's awesome. This one right here, The Ghost Soldiers, and I actually heard or read that Ben Affleck, the actor, is actually going to make a movie out of this book here on The Ghost Soldiers by Hampton Sides. This one is actually autographed by the author. You got Hampton Side right there, so that's cool. This one right here says Hell's Guest by Colonel Glenn Frazier. This is an amazing book. If you want to learn about what POWs, American POWs experienced, he was on the Bataan Death March. He survived that in the war. He was portrayed in Ken Burns' documentary called The War. He actually passed away about a year ago, Mr. Frazier. But it's filled out quite a bit here. But see, it says Colonel Glenn Frazier, January 9th, 2010. So that's amazing. That's great. This one right here, if you heard of Dakota Meyer, he's a Medal of Honor recipient. And this is his account of the battle that he fought in, where he was actually awarded, due to his bravery and everything, he was awarded the Medal of Honor. This one is filled out. It says Keith Semper Fi, and then Dakota Meyer is kind of scribbled there. But that's a great book. I read that one. It's a really good book. The Mander Brothers, Untold Stories, Those Who Are Alive and Remain. This one is actually signed by Earl McClung, Buck Compton, and Brad Freeman. Of those three, Brad Freeman is the only one that is still living. I actually received this from another YouTuber, Keep 'em Rolling. So I appreciate him a lot. Check his channel out, Keep 'em Rolling. It's a good channel. This one right here is called Get It On. This man, Kenny Thomas, he was actually in the Battle of Mogadishu, which, you know, was in 1993, October of 93. And it was actually made into a movie, you know, Black Hawk Down. This man fought in that battle, and he writes about the experience and everything. And you see it says, God bless, and it says RLTW, which means Rangers Lead the Way. And then he wrote his name, Kenny Thomas. So that's really cool. That's a great book. This one right here is really awesome. I came across this at the bookstore also. It says Iwo Jima, and that, you know, it talks about the battle itself. What is awesome about this, I couldn't believe it. Check this out. So whoever originally owned this book, bought it, was a World War II veteran. Not the same guy that was in the 42nd. This is a different veteran, but look. It says Private First Class R.R. Sewell, 5th Marine Division, 26th Regiment, 1st Battalion C Company. He was in the 60mm mortar platoon at Camp Pendleton, that's California. He fought at Camp Tarawa, or he was stationed at Camp Tarawa, then Hawaii, which is actually spelled wrong, but Iwo Jima, and he said it was 7 nights of hell. That was amazing. You know, I'd love to find out some information about this soldier. That was cool that he filled that out. That was a great score. Moving on here, I got this framed letter typed up and signed by Russell Pickett. This was in a video not too long ago. I typed up a really nice letter to this man thanking for his service and different things. He was in the 29th Infantry Division, which, you know, they suffered a huge amount of casualties on D-Day. He landed on, he was there at Omaha Beach, you know, where it was heavily defended by the Germans. So many American lives were lost. He survived even though he was wounded 3 times. And I mean, it's just, he's got an amazing story. Look him up, Russell Pickett. He wrote me back, you know, and signed it, and I appreciate that a lot. Right here at the Show of Shows in Louisville, this is 101st Airborne Easy Company. You know, Band of Brothers, Bradford Freeman, he signed this for me. And remember, he's actually one of the 3 that was in this book. He's the only one that's still living. But he signed this picture for me, and I appreciate that a lot. I also met at the Show of Shows in Louisville George Mers. I got a picture and a button here. He signed both of those. He was in the 818th Military Police Company, so that was really nice to meet him. And lastly, this is cool. My sister used to work at an airport near where I live, and she had, you know, met celebrities and different people, and she met Michael Barrett. At the time, he was the 17th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, and he actually filled out Jonathan. This is always faithful. You know, wrote his name, 17th Sergeant Major Marine Corps. So I didn't meet him myself. My sister got this for me, which was cool. But anyways, guys, just kind of a different video, like I said. I hope you liked it and thought it was interesting. A lot of, you know, really cool books here with autographs of well-known people, and even, you know, the pictures and everything. It's always nice to meet veterans of any war, shake their hands, thank them for their service, talk with them, and bond with them, build relationships. And, you know, if you can get an autograph, that's great. But anyways, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and more videos are on the way.